Hey everybody, this is Margaret. I'm moving some windows around. There we go. Welcome to my channel today. My name is Margaret Pinard. You're on BookTube. Thanks for stopping by. What are we doing today? It's Tag Tuesday. I was going to get off of Tuesdays and stop doing Tag Tuesdays and just make Wednesday my day, but I don't know, today worked out better. So we're back to Tuesday. Happy June, happy Pride. What are we doing today? Leo Bancroft's original OG tag, Stand with Trans Kids. So thank you to Leo for tagging me in this. It is not a tag, it's a movement. So a lot of people have done this tag. Let me pop it in the chat. We've got some links here to start out. We've got OG tag, which I want people to see. So this is Leo's original. Only 2 months ago, so I'm actually going pretty fast on this because it usually takes me 3 months to do something someone's tagged me in. So there's the OG tag. And then, of course, a lot of people are a lot faster than me. So there is the list of tag videos right there for you to go and check out because there's a lot of great books recommended. Okay, so original points. Why are we doing this? Hello, Moon. Hello, Melissa. Nice to see you guys. Thanks for being here. Why are we doing this? We have a few main points here. So this is my little intro. Number one is my basically disclaimer that I am a cis white lady, so I'm still learning and I am not very knowledgeable in this arena. So feel free to paste your critiques in the comments. Let me know what I'm doing wrong or can do better. I'd appreciate it. Number two is that I've watched the politics of bashing trans kids in the US progress, but also across the pond, there's a whole different stage and reactionarism that's happening in the UK to trans kids and that movement. And so I'm very curious how it's been so different. So if anyone over in Britain wants to tell me how that's going, I think it's because of the different health system and the different political system setup that it has, the language and the legal fights have been so different from the ones here in the US. So that is something I'm following on Twitter and I'm interested to know more about as well. And then the last point is basically back here in the US where I am. I'm not following this like line by line. I know that there are certain states that are putting laws on the books this year, especially in a coordinated campaign to restrict the rights of trans kids and trans people. And so what I understand is happening, and again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I found a great website and I'll put that in the chat in a second. What I am understanding is happening is that in order to distract from the fact that they can't govern, the far right in certain states is putting forward bills in their state legislatures that harm trans kids and that take away the right to self-determination, basically. So they're putting up a smokescreen and, trying to rile people up with some fake culture war stuff instead of the fact that they can't do their jobs. So I always root for the underdog, right? So if you know what I write about in history, I'm a historical fiction writer, and my tagline is historical fiction for the underdog because it's the people who can't defend themselves that need champions, right? Who need their voices to be lifted up and cheered on. And so what did I liken this to? It's like the bully of the school picking on the skinny new kid who just moved into town and who is least able to defend themselves because the bully wants to make themselves feel more powerful while they're failing all their classes and they have trouble at home. So that is the metaphor we're going with for the US system at the moment. I don't know, maybe it works for you, maybe it doesn't. But this is me defending the underdog. This is what I write about. And we've got to see this We've got to see through this harmful smokescreen and do what we can to support trans kids. So now we can move on to Leo's Stand with Trans Kids, hashtag Stand with Trans Kids, book tag. So that is going to highlight books with trans and non-binary characters, books by trans and non-binary authors, and some other random questions about recommended books and music, etc., etc. So we'll get going here. And I have some really great recs for you from people I know. So stay tuned for that. And let me catch up because I was reading from my notes and didn't see people's. Anita is here. Hello. Barrett is here. Hello. Morgan Lee. Hello. Hello. Oh, goodness. Barrett here with the facts. More than 340 pieces of legislation passed by the GOP legislatures to harm LGBTQ plus people. I feel like saying they're doing this as a distraction dismisses the nefarious purpose. The cruelty sort of is the point. I think, and this may be a debate about, are they that stupid or are they that evil, where it sort of misses the point, arguing whether, like, what's fake and what's real, what's for politics. But yeah, there's both, right? There's the cruelty and the inhumanity and the you don't deserve this part, but there's also the why now? Why the coordinated attack? Why when they have the best foot forward? That I think is the political part. Yeah. And yeah, Bear will be lurking. Sounds good. Cool Gamer says hi. JD dropping in for a quick hello. What's this about UK politics? I don't know. Maybe if you see me on Twitter and who I follow on Twitter, you'll see what I'm following. Nina says the politics are just fear-based reactionary behavior to non-conformity. It needs to stop. Agree. And JD also agreeing with Barrett, the cruelty is often the point. Recently saw more stuff go down in Texas, though think the courts held off another brilliant piece of hate from Governor Abbott. Yes, and this is a good place for me to put in that website. So the one that I was following suspiciously has nothing listed in Texas, but I think that's because they just batted down. I saw another article that said Texas had denied all those bills that had tried to go through. So go Texas legislature for blocking them. Yeah, so that is something to check. There are a lot of other states besides Florida and Texas, which are, I think, the biggest ones taking up space in my brain. But that will give you which ones have youth sports bans stuff, which ones have youth healthcare bans stuff, which ones have anti-trans, which ones have actually good non-discrimination clauses, and this kind of stuff. So I thought that was a really helpful website. Moon says, I know folks who are losing their homes, families, everything they've ever known in Texas to move here to Vermont to keep their kids safe. Right. Yeah. Yeah. You don't want to be turned in by a vigilante or a posse that is trying to prevent you from providing care for your kid. Yeah. All right. So the first question is tag some fabulous friends who also may want to do this tag and stand with trans kids. So I have chosen 5 and I'm trying to get an international flair here. So I hope that people appreciate this. Starting out with Desiree of Coffee, Reading, Writing. She's the American contingent, I believe. I have gotten to know her in the past couple months through Barrett Laurie. So really excited about that. The next is Taylor. She's from the channel Maid, M-A-E-D, Between the Pages. She's a booktuber in Japan. The next is Amy. That's Amy Rosenfeld of Amy Ryder Rose. There we go. She's been on my channel before, and she has lots of cool things to say, both about the industry and about ACE representation in fiction, especially on TikTok. So check her out there. Aoife is a booktuber in Ireland who does lots of supportive LGBTQ reading and reviewing. And Lizelle Sambury is an author tuber who you will see later on in this list in another question. So she is a great author whose first book I have read and whose second book I'm anxious to see come out in 2 months. So we're excited for that. Barrett saying Texas and Ohio are toying with legislation to allow parents to be investigated for child abuse for seeking gender affirming care. Yeah, that's what I was referring to. Thank you, Barrett. Ohio. JD says, I think more of that will happen. Moon, Texas, Oklahoma, Ohio, Georgia, West Virginia, et al. Yeah. Leo joining late, was on a call at work, but so excited to join and see this tag. The OG creator. Welcome, Leo. Welcome, everybody. Okay, so I just did the tagging. We just did question number 1. So now we're on to question 2. Tell us about some books on your TBR pile featuring a trans or non-binary character, or nonfiction about trans non-binary stuff. So I've got a few here that are on my wish list slash virtual shelf. So the first one I have is The Craft of Love by E. Ottoman. That was introduced to me by Kazan at Always Doing. It's a sweet romance historical fiction with a trans non-binary representation in the characters. And I don't know about the author, but I got the go-ahead checkmark star of quality from Kazan. And I also noted that Leo gave it 3.5, 4.5 stars. So good quality there as well on Storygraph. The Order of the Pure Moon Reflected in Water by Zen Cho. This is trans non-binary representation in the characters as well. This was recommended to me by my friend Neil, who you will also hear about in a later question. And this is a fantasy, I think historical fantasy flavor. There's a beautiful cover, and I don't have this one yet, so we'll see about that. The next one, I think, got some mixed reviews because of the ending, but it just intrigued me to want to read it more. And if you haven't guessed what that one is, it's She Who Became the Sun by Shelley Parker Chan. Now, I listened to an interview with Shelley Parker Chan on the Thoughtful Bro at A Mighty Blaze, and it seemed really good. So the mixed reviews that I'm getting from BookTube, I'm not too discouraged by. So yes, this one also I don't have, but I'm looking forward to. Then I've got An Unkindness of Ghosts by Rivers Solomon. I read The Deep by Rivers Solomon. It was like interesting, but not exactly my style, my lane. And so I'm looking forward to this, which is a different representation, a different angle, the same kind of elements combined in a different way. So I think I might enjoy that. We've got Mordu by Alex Faby, which is one of these kind of Edward Gorey illustrated covers. And it's again, I think like a historical flavor. You know, as I intimated with Edward Gorey, more of a dark comedy kind of angle with they said that there is a non-binary character because it's twins that live in one body, and they had a very interesting representation of that character. And so I thought that would be really cool. And then finally, one that is on my virtual shelf, The Death of Vivek Oji by Akwake Emezi, who is like the darling of BookTube, and I have not yet read. So again, lots of hype. I'm super nervous when I get close to books with lots of hype, but they've got like 7 books out. So I'm sure if I, give it a couple tries, I'll find one that I like, because they look very different. People have very different reactions to them, but mostly positive. So Akwake Emezi, very excited for that. And here's my friend Neil, who I'll pop in the comments. So a long time ago, in a galaxy far, far away, I worked at a bookstore called Another Read Through. And I worked there with a fellow author bookseller whose name is Neil Cochran, short for Cornelius. And he's written several books. I've read 2, I think. Some of them are not available anymore, but there's a new one coming out. there's a new game in town. It's called The Story of the 100 Promises, and it's available through local Portland publisher Forest Avenue Press. So what you got to do for your, I don't know, spend a little for Pride Month is pre-order this book. It's $18. It's going to be new, minted, hot off the press, coming out October 4th. It is a queer retelling, loosely based on Beauty and the Beast, but there are so many cool things involved in this. So I've put the link in the chat here. If you want to get a little bit more into the blurb, you can go to neilcochranbooks.com, where he's, given a very well-packaged blurb, and there's quotes. And I put up an Instagram story just a little bit ago that was a screen grab of Charlie Anders retweeting, or Goodreads reviewing, that's what it was. Goodreads reviewing an arc of the book. And Neil was like, I'm fine. Because Charlie Anders is one of his heroes. And so that was a beautiful, little author love thing to pass on. So we both worked at this bookstore owned by Elisa Sapphire, who is a jewel in the book selling and book author supporting scene in Portland. So yeah. If you go to Neil's site and get to choose where to pre-order it from, please order it through another read through, because I don't know, that it's just like old times nostalgia. Who knows? Good stuff. Let's see. Let's catch up here. Always lovely to see ya. Gameful employment messing with my tubes time. Yep. Same thing for JD. Yep. JD was looking for music to listen to. Oh, cool. So Jim's books reading and stuff. Hello. He's saying Akwaeke Emezi is a great author. JD has also not read Margaret Pinard. Also worry about that. Okay, I interpreted that one way and laughed because I thought you were talking about me, but I think you're talking about Akwaeke Emezi. Okay, so I'll let that pass. Moon says I read Pet by Akwaeke Emezi. It was spectacular. Yes. There is the link to go purchase the book pre-order for October because you want to support Pride and an indie bookstore and a friend of mine in real life because he's amazing. There we go. Richard, I think, is the only Brit here at the moment. Except for Jim, who is a Brit until I Brexited. Gagging for Lit is here. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Thanks for coming by. In case you wanted to follow Neil on Instagram, I also have grabbed his author professional account, so that is now in the comments as well. So you can see the cool Charlie Anders review, etc., and get excited along with me. Question number 3. Recommend a favorite book, show, movie featuring a trans non-binary character. I keep saying bun instead of bind. So this is where Lizelle comes back in. So I read earlier this year for my Black Author Tuber Readathon effort, Blood Like Magic by Lizelle Sambury, and I buddy read it with some other great author tubers and booktubers. So I'll pop that up afterwards, so you can all see what we thought, what we loved, what was like throwing our minds for a big loop. And a show, movie, I don't do too much show watching or movie watching that isn't pretty basic. So I'll stick to the book and say read Blood Like Magic by Lizelle Sambury. She's a great author tuber. She participates in the community. She is so thoughtful and so intentional with her videos that I love and want to support her work. So definitely encourage you to see her channel, subscribe, and check out her next book, which is coming out in August. So I'm very excited for that. Question number 4. Everyone has their own journey, and no one demographic is a monolith. Recommend a book with a journey, however you define that. Okay, so I was looking on my I was looking on my Storygraph for 5-star books, and some of them are from long ago, and I was downgrading some of them. But this one stuck out as one that I read slowly and intentionally and took lots of notes on and tried to rewrite several times the notes that I was getting. And this is Boundless Heart, The Buddha's Path of Kindness, Compassion, Joy, and Equanimity by Christina Feldman. I got this at my local metaphysical bookstore. Don't laugh. And it's called New Renaissance. And it was like a resurgence of a self-improvement phase. I haven't had one of those for a while, but this was a time when I was looking for something that was emotionally and spiritually grounding. So this was going into sort of like 4 virtues of Buddhism and examining them. And I just found that really helpful. So in terms of a journey and something to feel like was anchoring you, I thought that was really beautiful. So I'd recommend that book. Yeah, Boundless Heart. Question number 5. None of us knows everything, even about our own identities, especially since we're not a monolith and each of us have our own journey. What is a book that taught you something either about yourself or the world around you? And again, I was hanging out in my 5-star books. I was upgrading, I was downgrading, I was trimming it down so that I could see the actual 5 stars instead of the ones that were sort of like a knee-jerk reaction. And I knew who I wanted to search out for this one. It's an author named Janine Roth. Some of her books have a tendency to get repetitive, but the original message is sort of mind-blowing. So for this one, I picked Lost and Found, Unexpected Revelations About Food and Money. And Janine is spelled Geneen. And first I read her book, Women, Food, and God. And it had a really interesting thesis about why many women tend to have issues with food and how that might relate to our issues with God and society, because society constructs God, in my opinion. So I found that to be a continuation of my journey with spirituality that started in college about like, wait, this whole Catholicism thing is not really making sense. It's not really working for me anymore. So there was just a blank for a while. And then I started to try to find something else to put together to be like, what are my beliefs? And then when I went on this journey of like trying to put things together in spirituality as an anchor, this is one of the things that I thought, oh, okay, this is helping me shape where my identities came from and understand why I'm dealing with the things I'm dealing with now. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting. Goes without saying, like, Janine Roth is older than Brene Brown, but she was like the original Brene Brown in terms of like shame and, looking at past traumas to engage with current issues that are manifesting in different ways. So I found that really helpful. Richard says, welcome, Brits. Brexit, Richard's laughing. Gagging for Lit says, you are so pretty. You remind me of a Kendall Jenner. And I know there's multiple Jenners, and I'm not sure who Kendall is. Sorry. Since Brexit, Jim identifies as a Londoner. That's probably safe. And Richard is a Londoner by birth. Yes. Mosi. Moon says, I loved Blood Like Magic. Can't wait for Blood Like Fate. Yay. Gagging for Lit. How Much of These Hills is Gold is a book I remember having a trans character. Really? I did not know that. That would have been a good pick for May's Asian American Pacific Islander readathon month thing that we did. It's by C. Pam Zhang, but I didn't know there was a trans character in it, so that's great. I think that's also a Pacific Northwest author. Correct me if anybody knows if I'm wrong. Moon, definitely not laughing. I was once the assistant manager of a bookstore called Spirit Dancer. See? Yeah, so it's all good. It's all good. And The Danish Girl, that movie had a trans woman as the main character played by Eddie Redmayne. It was beautifully shot, though not the best character development for me. I had that book with the movie cover, and I tried to get into it several times. The talk about the movie might have like put me off it, but yeah. Hey, Brian, glad you're doing this. Thank you. Kendall is the model one. Oh, well, thank you. You had to drop again. No worries. Appreciate you being here. We are on question number 6. When things are hard in the world or in our lives, sometimes there are things we can do to help center and refocus ourselves, to bring joy, to keep us going, to keep living, resisting, being our authentically amazing selves. Aw. Go Leo. What are things you do to center yourself or find joy? And so for this one, I had definitely walk. I walk almost every day. Become absorbed in nature. So whether that's in a park or just walking by people's yards, yeah, I'm stealing looks at your flowers. I'm coming for them. Don't at me. I sing. Have you noticed that we do an Author Tubers host karaoke? We just did one last Saturday and it was pretty amazing. Except for the internet issues. So bear with the internet issues. If you have to go at like 2 times speed because of all the filling in chat, I do apologize. That's on me. But yeah, definitely singing and dancing ecstatically. So again, in a later question, it's almost like Leo designed these all to relate to each other. In a later question, I talk about the music that I do that too, but basically it's music that connects so well, or at least one part of it does, that it just makes me want to move, right? And so that is like a reconnecting activity for me. And my downstairs neighbors no longer have anything to say about it. Question number 7. What is your walk on music or your feel at home in your body music? So I would say these are pretty much the same to me. I watched Jolene at Bookworm Adventure Girls version of this tag earlier this morning. And she said they're pretty different. And so she gave a lot of different music recommendations. But I'm going to give pretty much the same because it's that dance ecstatically, feel in your body. Because as an author who spends a lot of time in front of the screen for YouTube and for writing, I feel like I get divorced from the body and I lose sensation. Like I can't feel where I'm sitting. My crinkly joints start telling me that they're cranky, and it's all my head channeling to my fingers. And so I like forget that there's these like muscles that want to move and stretch and engage, and that's healthy, right? And so I've got some recent music that I chose the artists of to put on here. I find them through Pandora, and then I end up downloading them through 7 Digital so that I don't use Apple or Amazon. And let's see, what's one? John Bellion, Bellion. Love his stuff. Bishop Briggs, who I've used before for karaoke, and it's just an amazing, amazing sensory experience for their music. AJR, who's huge on TikTok. That's how I found them. The Oh Hellos, also found on TikTok, but much more chill and sort of Celtic vibe, sort of folkish. Saint Mesa, also found on TikTok. Their song Lion is one that was like I could listen to 10 times in a row and still not get tired of it. And it's a different kind of dance, I'll give you that, but it's soul nourishing. Ivy Levin, another maybe left field, but you know, sometimes you just got to dance to Biscuit. Look it up if you don't know. And Saint Motel, longtime favorite. I found out about Saint Motel from the movie Mr. Right with Anna Kendrick and Sam Rockwell, where Sam Rockwell does this epic dance sequence where he's dancing to My Type by Saint Motel, and that is just my jam. I will sing to that. I will dance to that. It is, I don't know, it's just gorgeous. And they have lots of other great songs too. And the Shook Twins. So that's another like a little slower. Some of them are political, but most of them are more folksy. And they are from Portland. And I got to see them in person once, and it was amazing. So yeah, so there's your 8. Your 8. Feel at home in your body music that I would recommend to you. I hope some people love them or can shout them out or agree with me. Amy A-Star reads, hello, friend. Dancing ecstatically can sometimes be such a relief when things are heavy or when I'm stressed that it will bring tears. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Hard agree. Yep. I've done that thing where I don't know if it's in some like cheesy 80s movie where, like they throw themselves against the wall and push themselves off. And like, yeah, that, that sort of move can bring on tears too. Super, super good point. Yep. Moon Petrie, I love that AuthorTubers, the nerdy book nerd, and her husband, writer Marcus Regis, do timer dances during their live streams. What? I'm subscribed to the nerdy book nerd, but I haven't seen this. While he finds the next timer, she dances and encourages everyone else to. That sounds so amazing. Okay, I'll have to look that up. If they have a regular time, I'll definitely have to try to work that into my schedule. Thank you. Jenna the Soul Writer, hello all. Stopping into Sense of Hugs to the like button between work things. Thought I was going to have this afternoon off. Didn't go as planned. Grits, teeth, and bears it. Oh, sorry, Jenna. Thank you for stopping by. Melissa says, not only are you the queen of books you've never heard of, that's me, but musicians you've never heard of. Or maybe I'm just out of touch. I mean, like I said, half of these come from TikTok. So who knows how popular they actually are. But some are on Pandora. So I feel like they might have gotten into the algorithm of like getting into other people's feeds. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see if anyone's heard of any of these. Let me know. And it says, love watching the Sam Rockwell dance. I know. So good, right? So good. He's amazing. Okay, so let me get back on track here. Question number 8. Finding mentors, people of wisdom, or heroes can be another way to help us navigate life. Who are some of your mentors? Can you share something they taught you or inspired you to learn more about? So I've done stuff about mentors before, I think, in a tag video, and I think it brought up Barbara of Wishcraft, Barbara Scher of Wishcraft fame. I remember talking to Marilyn Maya Mendoza about that. She's a fellow Wishcraft junkie. But for this one, I chose books that have recently felt like mentors to me in my inglorious, uncertain journey. Let's call it that. So the first one was Fox and I by Catherine Raven. This is a nature memoir is what I would call it. And I'm going to do a video of like top 5 nature memoirs because they seem to be resonating with me right now. And I would have done it earlier, except Bookshop wouldn't accept my group. So I couldn't like group together books like I wanted to. So Fox and I is about a woman who has designed her life so that she teaches field biology is the closest I can come to it. I'm not a scientist some of the time, and she can stay in this plot of land she's bought near Glacier Park at least part of the year. And she is someone who grew up, I think, in Maryland and now lives out in the national park. She's had several different jobs in different national or regional parks, got her doctorate to teach and all that, but really does not like being around people and has problems interpreting signals. And so she's most comfortable by herself. So it's, I think, billed as a neurodivergent memoir. And she talks about growing up. She talks about learning about this fox who comes on her property and sort of the ins and outs, the ups and downs of her relationship with this fox and how she learns about herself through her changing relationship with this person. And it's just really beautiful. I listened to it as an audiobook from Libro.fm. And would recommend it to anybody. The next one is, I think I have 3. Yeah, I have 3. Next one is To Speak for the Trees, My Life's Journey from Ancient Celtic Wisdom to a Healing Vision of the Forest. This is by Diana Beresford Kroger. It's another Libro.fm audiobook. And this one I read like 2 Christmases ago because I remember where I was walking around listening to it. And it's a woman who has had a remarkable in-between kind of life. She was born into a place where one parent was like English upper class and one parent was like Irish old land family. And so she's had sort of feet in different worlds and has felt excluded from both, but also keyed into both. And so from that origin, she became someone who was a champion for the trees, like the Lorax, who was one of my heroes, my fictional heroes. And she goes through the Ogham alphabet, but in a way that is more like an encyclopedia of trees and culture in Ireland and Celtic cultures in general. And I just loved how she passed on this knowledge and related it to what she's doing now. She lives, I think, in Ontario, and she's still like a traveling tree saver. She'll like either rescue trees and bring them home or bring them to the attention of people who need to care for them, or certify if a tree is a certain type. She's a scientist, like academic, as well as person who just lives on her farm at home and doesn't bother anybody. So I just think she's got so many different worlds going on that she is a guiding light for someone like me who has so many different interests and can't seem to focus on one deep enough to be like the expert in it or the PhD in certain subjects. So that is a theme, and we're going to keep with that for the next one. To another sort of nature memoir. The next one is not nature related, but it is that same feeling of like someone who has too many things that they can't decide between, but wants to sample everything in the world. Yes. And the book is Without Reservations, The Travels of an Independent Woman by Alice Steinbach. This I read a long time ago in my wishcraft age. And Alice Steinbach was a person who wrote for the Baltimore Sun for many years as a freelancer. And she's written a few books as well. And this was the first one that I read that just captured my attention because it's non-conforming. It's doing what you want to do in the world, kind of like All Passion Spent from last month's reading, actually. And not giving up. So yeah, let's go for that. So I definitely recommend it. I wish I had known that she was a Baltimore-based writer when I lived in DC. I don't think I realized that she lived there until after she passed away, and I had already moved out, and it was like 4 years later. I was like, that would have been cool to meet her. So yeah, so mentors, heroes, fictional, the Lorax, and non-fictional. And what they taught me. So yeah. Question 9. Let me make sure I'm caught up here. Moon says their live streams are Thursdays evening for them in Sweden. So 1 p.m. for Moon, who is in Eastern. So that would be 10 a.m. on Thursdays. I don't think I have anything else. Okay, I'll try to tune in. Swedish. I did not know that. Okay, very cool. Thank you, Moon. Jim says, I used to work in music retail. I'd never heard of Margaret's selections either. I'll just carry on dancing to New Order. Well, what can I say? When I do karaoke, it's all musicals. So no one's heard of those either, even though I have heard of all your classical 70s, 80s, 90s. I mean, a lot of 90s I miss out on. So yeah, I am not apologizing for my tastes. Hamilton, hello. Moon Petrie, that nerdy book nerd husband-wife dance sounds like an OnlyFans waiting to take it to the next level. You don't need to take it there. Dancing ecstatically or just for fun or just to feel in your body is something that shouldn't need to be sexualized. It's just like massage. There's something about touching in America that has become so taboo that does not need to go there. Like, You need massage for your health. You need dance to feel yourself sometimes. And so, yeah, I'll fight for that. Moon says, would love to see the nature memoir video. My mom loves stuff like that. It'll give me gift ideas. Totally. Savion Taylor. Hello. Thanks for stopping in, Cookie King. Amy says, yes, that sounds great. That's me. Jane of all trades, master of none. Yeah. And so you just need to figure out like one thing that'll cover the bills and then like do all the other stuff. I'm here for it. All right. Question number 9. Rounding third base here. Who are some out trans non-binary booktubers, Instagrammers, authors, actors, etc. who you'd like to shout out? And so I kept this to my YouTube arena because that's where I know the most people, except for one on TikTok. So stay tuned to find out that one. They're amazing. So start out with the first person I think I ever knew on YouTube who was non-binary, and that is @2Brody. And I ran into them because of Indigathon. So this is an indigenous two-spirit creator who helps run Indigathon along with Thor Wants Another Letter. That's Michelle. So yes, so they're the first. They will always remain the first. The next one, trans non-binary booktubers. Oh, I just have their @ symbol. I didn't copy the link. So let's put down Brody. And then we've got Brent @Rod Reads. They're a trans booktuber who has great recommendations of radical. So Rad Reads is not only like awesome reads, but also radical as in radical left. So they've got a lot of things about labor history, about rights movements, all kinds of rights movements, about people who fought for things that we have never heard of because they're not in our history, because we're not critically reflecting on race. Go figure. So that is Brent @Rad Reads. They do an awesome job. Another one is a channel called Sue Gives an F **K. I don't know if many people follow this channel, but I think a lot of the recommendations tend to be similar because the community is so small and the proportion of the population that is trans or non-binary that is known is also very small. So I'm trying to give a few different recommendations here. And Sue Gives a Fuck came to my attention because she did a video responding to She Who Must Not Be Named. I think she's a British comedian / celebrity personality, and she doesn't do too many videos, but I would subscribe because the content is fun, is good, is on point. So there's that one. Then I've got a newer to me person, goes by Nick C. or Nick Keaton Writes. So I'll pop his information on here. He's also on Instagram. He's got stories on Instagram as well as a new style because he's one of the people who doesn't want to show his face, which there is a significant minority of people who don't show their face, but still manage to do top-notch videos. Jeremy Fee is another one who uses Bitmojis. And that is Nick Keaton. So he's just joined AuthorTube, I think a couple months ago is when I got to know him in the comments and stuff. And remarkable, a lovely addition to the community. And last book, AuthorTuber, I guess I'll say, is Devin Cutting. So we call Devin they, them, and they've been absent for a couple months because of personal issues, but they are still behind the scenes making playlists for everyone on AuthorTube doing writing sprints. So go Devin. So the people that I am shouting out are @2Brody of Indigathon fame, Brent @Rad Reads for all your radical anarchist / race and labor up the left reads and history. Sue Gives an F for comedy, drag, British view, which is fantastic. And Nick Keaton Writes for AuthorTube and just starting out as a writer on the tubes. and Devin Cutting for AuthorTube writing playlists and general support because they are remarkable. And Canadian. Just put that in there. Gagging for Lit says, books and bows, a non-binary YouTuber I watch. They like Murakami and Ishiguro a lot. I have their blog down as a resource that I was going to pop up earlier. So why don't I insert that here? I was looking at my story graph on my wish list, as well as doing some Googling to see like trans non-binary characters, because they aren't always sorted in LGBTQ as a genre, and they aren't separated out as trans non-binary within that genre. So unless I've already tagged them specifically, which I don't do for that characteristic on my story graph, then I was hard to find them, because it's hard to keep everything that a book does if you haven't read it in your mind, right? So Books and Bow had this lovely list, and when I went down the list, I could see the ones that they had suggested that I already had in my head as on my list. So definitely recommend. Thank you, Gagging for Lit, for that suggestion. We had someone pop in. Author Lauren Adele. Hello, hello. Welcome to the party. Nicole, the blind maid, the sister team duo, have come in to say hello. Thank you. Welcome. Moon says, Devin's playlist has saved my nano butt so many times, making sure I have folks to write with when I'm not motivated enough on my own. Yes. So thank you goes out to Devin Cutting. And Lauren saying Nick is lovely. Recently met him in JC Carpenter's live streams. Oh, cool. Very nice. Very nice. All right. So that is my recommendations for the YouTube. And here's my one on TikTok. So if you guys are on TikTok, I mean, no pressure to join. But if you are, this is a person that you need to follow for the hilarity and the on-point targeted clapbacks. So they also have merch. It's a non-binary creator who does Receptionist in Hell. And every so often, they'll put up this epic sketch that is a new thing where they are the receptionist to welcome people to hell. And so you get to see like a sketch where they're greeting someone, and, you know, maybe there's Jesus there also in the sketch, talking amongst themselves and just reacting to why people might have been sent there, and just sort of putting out the message they want, that, you know, maybe they should have made some different choices in life. And Mason Denver R is the person to follow. So love when they do Receptionist in Hell sketches, and definitely deserve all the followers. So go follow them if you're on TikTok. They might have their videos on YouTube. I'm not sure. But yeah, definitely recommend for hilarity. Okay, we're at the last question, number 10. What are some organizations you'd like to shout out for supporting trans kids, trans folks? And so for this, I would basically say my friends that I've mentioned above, the YouTubers that I've talked about in previous questions, and since Leo was so good at lifting these up, the organizations that Leo has been promoting since the dawn of time. Because if you didn't know, the OG creator of this tag uses every video that he puts out on YouTube to highlight an organization doing good work, a charity, a nonprofit, a soup kitchen, a political organization, a prison. Damn it. Spanning something. You must do a lot of work looking for different topics, themes, you know, things to tie into the subject. So that is a lot of work that I want to acknowledge that Leo Bancroft does and deserves credit for. So clapping for Leo there. I think I've put all my links up. I think I've shouted out all my happy thoughts to all my people. Again, I hope Desiree, Taylor, Amy, Aoife, and Lizelle can find time to do this tag, maybe during Pride Month, because, I don't know, it just makes it extra special. And yeah, this has been super fun. It only took me 2 months, Leo. Thanks for waiting. And yeah, let me just reiterate that it's a new area for me within the past 5 years or so. So feel free to correct, critique, educate, both me and my audience in the comments. I welcome it. So yeah, love you guys. Thanks for coming. Thanks for commenting. I hope if you are inspired by these questions, which are just lots of fun, you can do this yourself, even if I didn't tag you specifically. And yeah, stand up for the underdog. Say no to people beating up on people less powerful than themselves, and pay attention to what's happening around you. And let me know how you do with that. Thanks, everyone. I'll see you again soon. Oh, I didn't do upcoming attractions. Okay, so here's my outro. This Saturday at 2 p.m. my time, so 2 p.m. Pacific, I will be on SD Houston's channel for the dub productivity sprint. That's Worldwide Write-a-thon. And so we'll be there 2.5 hours doing grueling heats of productivity. You want to be there and observe it. After that, Sunday, Leo Bancroft, the OG creator of this tag, is going to be on my channel, and we're going to be talking Sundays on Streamyard. So Leo will be testing out the controls, doing some test driving. You can check it out in my description. I do this offering once a month. Seems to have evened out to once a month. You just fill out the form if you're interested in having a little tutorial of Streamyard and like pulling all the bells and clanging all the whistles. You know what I mean? I offer that service to booktubers and authortubers and people in my community because I've gotten really good at it in the past couple of years and feel like passing on that knowledge to people who want more comfort, more familiarity with the tools to reach their audience with their voice. So that's Sundays on Streamyard, and Leo will be my guest on Sunday, which is fantastic. And then finally, June 24th, which is next Friday, I will be having author JC Carpenter and Christy Stratos, who's also an author, but it's not in her channel title, on my channel to do an author panel concerning the mid-year book freakout tag, which is a booktube tag, but we're giving it a twist for AuthorTube. So stay tuned for that, June 24th in the evening, 4 p.m. for me, 7 p.m. Eastern. So I hope that has grabbed interest for some of you, and you're excited. I will see you again soon for any of those things, and appreciate your presence here. Gagging for Lit, Melissa, Amy, Moon. Yay, Moon's gonna do this tag. Jim saying bye. Shannon saying bye. Shannon's out driving, so I appreciate the checking in. Moon says, I always do trans author book rec videos on Harry Potter's birthday, which is in the summer sometime. That's all I can remember. Dub. Loved Leo's telephone book video. Yeah. Yay. So that's it for today, everybody. I wrapped it up in under an hour. Whew, miracle. Thanks for tuning in, and